Well. It's live. I've got two people watching. It is what it is. I'm going to crack on, do the video, and hopefully more people will join as we go along. So this is going to be my first live video in nearly a year. I don't know how it's going to go. I have done my research. I'm just going to hope that we can. I don't know. We can get somewhere. We can. This will be a good video. So we're here to talk tactical takeover, Fulham edition. We're playing Fulham on Saturday. It's 3 o'clock kickoff. Kind of a pain in the backside because it clashes with me watching my brother's team, Long Lane. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Fulham, obviously, we played Fulham last year in the tail end of the season, or tail end of the year, shall I say, and it didn't go particularly well. Sharky's joined us. Good evening, Sharky. Thank you for coming on. And my wee man before bed is here with us as well. So it didn't go too well. They beat us 5-0. I think it was a run of games where we were just awful. And they're not a bad side, Fulham, now. I've watched their 3 games this season in the league. They were unlucky to lose at Manchester United 1-0. They beat Leicester. Played quite well against Leicester, I have to say. I was impressed with them. Drew 1-1 with Ipswich. I'll say it now. I actually think Ipswich in their first game of the season against Liverpool looked really, really good. I thought they were impressive. They ran out of steam, and Liverpool's class showed in that last 20 minutes of the game. But I actually thought that Ipswich played quite well. So a draw there isn't awful. They beat Birmingham 2-0 in the cup. And Silva's got on playing a really nice brand of football, I will say. I'm impressed. I like Marco Silva as a manager. Hey, Larry. Larry's joined us afternoon from Lexington, Kentucky. I haven't seen much barbecuing going on, though, Lawrence. You're going to need to fix that for me. Yes, I've already said hello to you, young man. Stop spamming me. And the players that they've brought in, I will say. Now, listen, Fulham have always been that kind of, I don't know, like Bournemouth, shall we say. They're the guys that are, what you'd expect them to be in and around that kind of bottom third of the table, probably 14th, 15th, 16th, that sort of placing. I don't see them being that this year. I mean, they bought in Smith Rowe from Arsenal, Nielsen from Arsenal, bought in Sander Berg from Burnley, and I really, really like Sander Berg. I think he's a fantastic player, and I wouldn't have minded him ahead of Rodriguez. That's just my opinion, but I think he's a good player. They went and got Joachim Anderson from Palace. Again, another good signing for them. Sessegnon on a free from Spurs after he ended his contract. And they got Cuenca from Villarreal, who is I think he's a left-footed centre-back. So they did some good business in the window for them. And I reckon there's a top, I'm going to be brave and say top 10, top 12 finish, probably top 10 finish for them this season. And anyone that finishes above them are going to be in with a shout at Europe. Like I say, they play some bloody good brand of football. I like what they're doing. And I hope we go into this game focused tomorrow. On Saturday. they're a really balanced, a really well balanced side. Their last game, I think it was against Ipswich in the league. Let me just find it. Here it is. It was 1-1 against Ipswich. This was how they lined up. This was their starting lineup. So they went with Leno in goal, Robertson, Bassi, Diop, and Tete as the back four. Smith Rowe, Lukic, and Pereira in the middle, and then Iwobi, Muniz, and Adama Traore up top. Now, what I will say there is you've still got Nelson to come into that team, or Nielsen, Nelson, whatever. Still got Xander Berg to come into that team, Anderson to come into that team as well. Now, Robinson, I don't expect Sessegnon to walk into this side. Robinson, I think, is an absolutely fantastic player. He's not one that I would expect to still see there if he has a good season. It's no disrespect to Fulham. It's no disrespect to Fulham fans, but I also think that he's better. I say he's better than that. You understand what I mean now. As Sharky says, Fulham are developing a really decent side, and they are. You know, you've got players like Pereira and Smith Rowe there in the middle of the park, pulling the strings and filling, you know, and putting the arrow onto the bow for players like Traore, Iwobi, and Muniz to fire the shots. And I actually think we're going to need to be at our best on Saturday to be to get something out of this game. Budgie, my man, good evening, sir. Prepping for 10 o'clock. I will get this done before 10, and I shall come over to you, good sir, and I shall be watching. You know, we'll go over to our side. Let me get rid of this. I'm still figuring it out, and I myself. Let me get rid of that. So we go into this game on Saturday with a couple of injury concerns. So on our last game against Manchester City, Areola came off at half time with a back injury, I believe it was. He's 50-50 at the moment. Fulkrug, he came off against Hungary in midweek or last weekend, sorry, with we're not sure whether it's an Achilles injury. We're not sure whether it's a calf injury. There's conflicting reports on that one. And Cresswell's been ruled out anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, our first 3 games of the season have been like a learning curve for us as fans with what we're going to be seeing. It's been a learning curve for the players with what Lopetegui wants to do. Pardon me. Now, I can see what Lopetegui wants to do. I can see what he wants the players to do, and I'm really, really excited. I know a few people said that our game against City before the international break was a bit of a damn squib. I didn't see it that way at all. Yeah, we lost 3-1. Yep, a couple of silly little defensive errors, players switching off. I just think they played us off the park in points. Someone said to me, if Kudus scores, it's 2-2, the game's different. I don't see it like that. I think they go up the other end and they score 2 more. It's, you know, that's what they do. That's City. They've always got another gear, 2, 3 to go up again. Just jump into the chat. Larry says he doesn't see Fulkrug being fit for Saturday. Budgie says he's got a bruised ankle and has a week's layoff. Yeah, maybe. Again, that's the third. That's the third iteration of what his issue. What his issue is. So you don't know. I mean, our first 3 games of the season, so we lost to Villa 2-1. Obviously, Duran gets the goal. I don't think we played too badly, and I could see, again, what Lopetegui wants us to do. For me, it's get the ball from front to back as quickly as possible. Evening, B. Do some work, you. That's the latest from X, apparently. Oh, cheers, Budgie. Thank you. It had to be Duran, but get the ball forward as quickly as possible, as least passes from back to front. More along the lines of, it's not long ball, it's direct passing, i.e. keep the ball around our defence. You've got players like Kilman who can ping a pass, Rodriguez who can ping a pass. You've also got Tadibo there. And it's a case of keep the ball around our back 4 and then look to go direct wide to players like Bowen, Kudus, get the ball into Paqueta in attacking areas. And I could see that. I could see that in the Villa game. Obviously, the Palace game, again, I actually thought we played really well. I know we won, and some people are saying that, it wasn't great. It wasn't perfect. No, nothing's ever going to be perfect. You look at City's 3-1 win. If you turn around and said to Pep, was that perfect? They'd tell you no. There's always something you can improve on. We then lose 3-1. We beat Bournemouth 1-0 in the cup. Again, we looked a bit ropey. We looked a bit, but we got the win. And that's all that matters. Into the hat. All right, Liverpool, 2-tier football, etc. I'm not going down that road again. And then obviously, like I say, we lost to City. We go into this game at the weekend. Oh, look at that. Budgie, if you're listening, that's Logan saying hello to you. Little sod, he should be in bed. So we go into Saturday and I'm cautiously confident. Is that what we should say? Cautiously confident. I think we can get something. I saw something online earlier, people saying that we should be going and getting the wins if we want to qualify for Europe this season. These are the sort of teams we should be beating. I agree with that based on Fulham's team from last year, not what they've built with the 5 or 6, 7 signings that they've bought in. This is a different ball game with Fulham. So I am cautiously confident. Now, I've gone with my starting lineup based on what I'd like to see. Logan Budgie says hello, mate. He says he hopes you're doing well. Bless him. The love between you two is madness. I love it. We're going to have to get over to a game one day once they put the concessions back, Budge, because I can't afford to pay £100 to bring him on and me. You know what I mean? So here's my lineup and what I'd like to see. I think it's probably the same as what everyone else wants to see, to be fair. So Areola in goal, Emerson, Kilman, Tadibo, Wan-Bissaka, Rodriguez, Alvarez, Somerville, Paqueta, Kudus, and Bowen up top. Now, bearing in mind that Bowen was brought on twice for Kane over the international break, and he played up front. So I think that's going to hopefully give Lopetegui a little nudge. He's my honorary nephew, Duke. Love the boy like my own. I think the feeling's mutual, Budge. He loves seeing you at the games. Now, if you take a look at that, I mean, I can't shrink that so you can see me, so I'm going to leave it up there for a couple of more minutes. That back 6, if you will, in Emerson, Kilman, Tadibo, AWB, Rodriguez, and Alvarez. For me, it's interchangeable. Now, bear with me a second. Bear with me. I think you can move Rodriguez more centrally, drop Alvarez into the middle of that back three of Kilman and Todibo, push Wan-Bissaka and Emerson higher up the pitch, which then allows Kudus and Somerville to get closer to Bowen. Now, Larry, I've seen your comment. I'm going to start that. I will come back to that, and I'll give you my reasons momentarily. Now, by doing that, again, you've got Alvarez who can ping a pass, by the way. Alvarez can drop the ball on a dime, on a sixpence. And it gives us an extra by playing Alvarez and Rodriguez together. This is going to sound ridiculous, but by playing Rodriguez and Alvarez together, I actually think it makes us more attacking. Because with Alvarez dropping into the middle of Kilman and Todibo and pushing Emerson and Wan-Bissaka further forward, you've still got four in Rodriguez, Kilman, Todibo, and Alvarez in there. You're pushing Kudus and Somerville closer to Bowen, and you're still having Wan-Bissaka and Emerson into like a midfield with kind of like a diamond, if you want. Paqueta at the top, Rodriguez at the bottom, Emerson and Wan-Bissaka left and right. Now, as Budgie says, hit the like button. Only got 2 likes. I'm going to have to like it myself. There we go. Done. Now, I'll come back to your comment there, Larry. Let me come out of my... In fact, I'll leave my picture up. No, I'm going to take my picture down. Learning as I go. Do. I need a moderator. Someone to come in and do my comments for me. Now, Larry, you've said here about swapping Kudus and Bowen's positions. I'll cover that one first. Now, the reason I wouldn't, right, and I know that Kudus has played in a false 9. He has played up front for Ajax, and I like to see him out on that right hand side. I think he's better out on the right. I think we get more from him. Somerville on that left, he can cut in, and we've seen what he can do. He was unlucky a couple of times so far this season, so I'd like to see him now. I'd like to see Bowen stay up top. We saw what Bowen can do up top last season, and it was impressive. I mean, he scored goals for us left, right, and centre last year, so I'd like to see him stay there. You go back to Mav over to Debo. Yes and no. I understand your thinking, and it's not like Mav's done anything wrong to lose the shirt. I know people were complaining about him and his positioning vis-a-vis one of the goals against City. Doesn't matter to me. If Todibo's going to be coming in, and I believe he has to make 5 appearances. I think it's the same sort of thing as the Dawson deal. If you remember Dawson, when we got him, he had to play 5 appearances. Maybe more for Dawson. But he had to make those appearances. You get my meaning. Todibo has to do the same. So we're going to have to get him into the team at some point. I think he's made 3 so far, sub appearances and whatnot. So I'd like to see him come in, because he's going to need time to develop a partnership with Kilman. And I know that they've spent time over the last week doing so. And I'm looking forward to seeing what follows from that. But I think they need to have some game time on the pitch. And that's the only reason that I would have that as my starting lineup. As I say, you can have Alvarez drop into a 3, Emerson and Wan-Bissaka push forward, Rodriguez central, leaving Somerville and Kudus almost to create a front 3 in the same way that Fulham did in their last game. As I say, those joining, this is Fulham's last turnout against Ipswich. it then gives Kudus and Somerville that chance to push higher up. So I'll be very interested. That's what I want to see. So I'm really looking forward to it. Hogan, I'm not quite. I do love you though, kid, and thank you. Bless him. Sharky's asked me what I've made of AWB so far. The cameo appearance against Palace told me everything I need to know. We look uncomfortable, right? So against Villa, against was it Real Betis in pre-season, Betway Cup, which we won, by the way. We were very left-centric when it comes to playing the ball out from the back. If you watch those games back, we never involved Soufal. It was always Mav, Kilman, Emerson, Kilman, Mav. Oh God, we've got to give it to Soufal. So we didn't want to. When Wan-Bissaka came on, we look more balanced as an outlet from the back. He's always looking to carry the ball. Kilman, my God, Kilman as well as AWB carrying the ball out from the back rather than just dump. If they see 6 yards in front of them, they will carry into that. Happy, my lovely. It's good to see you back, my darling. And yeah, so I feel really bad for Soufal. I do, because I've absolutely loved the man. In the same way I've loved Souček. Absolutely loved both of those players playing for West Ham. It's always been 110%. It's always been, well, for Souček anyway, blood, guts and glory. So I need, I'm gutted for those boys, but there comes a time, doesn't there? And Fulham were the same. Fulham have been the same in post-season, pre-season, sorry. They've brought in, as I mentioned earlier, I'll go back to my notes, Smith Rowe, Nelson, Bow, Anderson, Sessegnon, Cuenca. By bringing those in, Logan says, hello, Happy. Bless him. They've brought in these players, which then has meant they've had to move out some fan favourites. Decordova-Reid went. Tim Ream went. It's just the natural development of a football club. And you can love these players, but unfortunately there gets to a point where they have to be replaced and we have to upgrade them. It's happened for years, hasn't it? At our club, we've seen players come and go that we've absolutely adored. Logan, she's replied. I'll let you read that, mate. So it's just, again, it's one of those things that we're progressing. Therefore, these players have to drop down the pecking order. And I'm gutted because, like I say, I love both players. I think they're fantastic. They've given their all. They were part of a side that saw us win a trophy, which allowed me to celebrate for the first time as a West Ham fan to winning something. I was only 18 months when we won the FA Cup in 80. So says Scott behave. He is nicknamed the Spider, Sharky. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why. I don't know where it comes from. I don't care, to be honest with you. I'll take it. So do me a favour, guys. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the lineup. Do me a favour. There's 8 of you in there. Give me a like. I've only got 3 and I've done one of them. So give me a like. Give me your comments. Whether you're watching this afterwards, give me your comments on my lineup. Let me know your lineup as well. You guys in the chat, I now want your score predictions for Saturday. I'll hold off and I'll pretty much chat some rubbish for the next 5 minutes. You get you guys get your comments in, your scores. That's the one. Oh my God, get your scores in the chat for me, and we'll go through them. Obviously, this is my first live in, it's going to be about 10 months. Don't like doing lives on my own. I've got no one to talk to. You guys in the chat, it's fantastic, but I've got no one to interact with either side of me, as you guys understand. I'm not saying that I don't like you here. That's not what I'm getting at. But as I said earlier, I am cautiously confident going into this game. I made a comment downstairs in my pub, and I'll give it to you guys. What do you mean I've got 9 likes? It still says 3 on mine. But thank you, kid. Thank you for letting me know. I'll press refresh, shall I? I turned around and said something to people in the pub. I have got 9 likes. Thank you, Logan. Retro, I'll come to your comment momentarily, okay? I said to someone in the pub, the way we played against City, I can see us causing problems for every team bar City. Well, we caused City problems, but they were on a slow go, weren't they? But City, Liverpool, and Arsenal are the only 3 teams that I think we won't cause problems. If you get my meaning, every other team we're going to cause problems for. Fulham will upset a few teams this season. I'm hoping we're not one on Saturday, but I do think that we're gonna cause problems for a lot of teams this season. We look good going forward if Lopetegui can shore up that defence. I mean, I'm not being funny. We've kept 2 clean sheets in 4, 2 clean sheets on the trot, if you include, like I say, the Bournemouth game as well. Palace Bournemouth. So I'm happy, and we look like we're working on that defence, and it also gives us a good base. Now, going through the couple of scores I have got, Sharky says 2-1 to West Ham. Larry says 2-1 to West Ham, with 2 goals from Bowen. Happy, I don't see your scoreline. Becca, I don't see your scoreline. Retro, I don't see your scoreline. Come on. Logan, I don't see your scoreline. So I'm going to go with a 3rd clean sheet. I'm going to go with a 3rd clean sheet, and oh, bless him, number 1 best dad. You're a good kid. Can't swear on here because you're watching, I suppose. I'm going 2-0. I'm going 2-0 West Ham. I'm going to go with a Somerville and a Somerville opening goal for West Ham. I'm going to go with Bowen to grab a goal as well. I'm going to come back to a comment by Retro if he's still here, or they're still here. I'm hoping so. Logan's come in with a 3-1 West Ham, and Bowen scores 2, and Happy comes in with a 3-1, a 3-0, a 3-1 at worst. Retro says Fulham look good with the ex-Arsenal lads, but sorry, but I think West Ham will lose 3-1. Hey, listen, that's your opinion, my man, and you're more than welcome to it. I'm not going to scream, shout, stamp, and block you. Actually, where is the block button? No. Go back to your other comment before, my man, about do I think letting Ward-Prowse go was a bad decision? No, is a straightforward and simple answer. As Sharky put here, he doesn't think it was working out for him at the club. Larry also agrees with me. I'll tell you why. I'll give you my opinion on it. The way that Moyes wanted to play put too much defensive pressure on the team. Okay. It put defensive pressure on Agard, which is why I think Agard looked so bloody poor at times, because it was 90% defensive, 150% constant focus. Do you see what I mean? And I also think that it was the same for JWP. You didn't see his benefits from us going forward. We didn't get him on the ball enough, facing up the pitch towards the opposition's goal, and because of that, he didn't come good. And it's a sad situation. It's a sad state of affairs that it happened like that for him, and it's I'm gutted. I am gutted because I like Ward-Prowse. I think he's a good player. I mean, am I right in thinking? I think he's only gone on loan, hasn't he? So, and I don't think there was an option to buy. So there's still a possibility for him to come back and still make good. I think he'll level and beat David Beckham's record this season with Forest. So I think he still gets to come back. Happy, you're saying here, too much moisty PTSD among the old players. And again, I think you're right. I think I have seen that in some aspects in the game. I think it was against Palace when we won. Jarrod Bowen was practically playing, even when Wan-Bissaka came on, an AWB. In fact, it was the Bowen goal. Was it the Bowen goal? No, it wasn't the Bowen goal. It was the Souček goal when Bowen breaks past him. Bowen is practically playing on the edge of our 18-yard box as AWB starts to break. And the problem was AWB then had to come back on himself because there was no one in front of him apart from Fulkrug on the far side of the box. So, yeah, you're right, Happy. I think that we are in a situation where we're still trying to get out of that mentality. Logan, what are you saying? If you do, speak it. We'll say the comment after you write after, I think. Absolutely no English there that I understood. Joe, if you're watching, can you write it for him and what he means, please? Retro says here, just think any team going from playing a back five at times under Moyes to a back four will struggle. You only have to look at Chelsea. To be honest with you, Retro, we didn't play that much of a back five under Moyes. We actually played two banks of four that were so close to each other, we might as well have played a back eight. That it wasn't a back five. It literally, they were so close together that there was no real separation, which then meant that the forward players were so far away from the midfield. So I don't think it's not a case of struggling. I just think by keeping the ball where we're going to keep it, and we've seen it at points in games so far, going out to Kilman to Wan-Bissaka, back to Kilman, Areola, Todibo, Emerson, Todibo, Kilman, he'll carry it out, and then it'll be a 40, 50-yard pass to Bowen. It's one pass to Bowen, one pass into the box, and it's a goal. So essentially, it's we'll put an AI voice so it speaks your comment. No, stop it. I'm just learning to do this again, boy. Stop it. Bloody kid. So I just think that it's two passes, although you've got the six at the back. The attacking passes are just two, and we're in an attacking position. So I'm really excited about that kind of things. It's very dare I say it. It's very much Allardyce. Do you remember when we shared all the memes that were, fire up the Quattro? We're going back to the 80s. It was very much Oh, I think he's trying to use the voiced option and it's messing up his comments. That's my little boy, Larry. That's Logan. He's only 10. He should be in bed already. Strangling. Little sod. Hi, Joe, if you're there. Oh, everyone's so lovely. Makes me sick. So, yeah, it reminds me of that time when we were getting the ball from back to front as quickly as we could, just to get into attack. I just think, like I say, with 4 games in so far, yep, okay, we have conceded 5 goals. We conceded 70 last season, which was our worst in a long time. But we've kept 2 clean sheets. That for me is key. I mean, how many games last season? And bearing in mind that those clean sheets were back to back, they were 2 back-to-back clean sheets. How many games last season did we keep clean sheets back to back? Very, very few, if any. So I'm excited. Now, what I will say is a good friend of the channel, Budgie, is going to be going live with Old School Hammers very shortly over on the West Ham Network. I'm going to go over it and catch the start of that and go say hello. It's been a while since I've done a live video. So those guys, those of you that have joined me, thank you so much. I've been really apprehensive about doing live videos. That's why you'll see that most of them have been pre-records and just uploaded. Like I say, I've been very nervous about doing the lives. I don't think this has gone too badly. I do have some research that I did, which did me a favour, so I just wasn't talking nonsense without any guidance, if you will. And I've quite enjoyed being here. It's been lovely to see some of the old faces coming into the chat. I really appreciate it. Let everyone know I'm back. Let everyone know I've done a live. It's hard doing it on my own. I will say it's hard doing it on my own, and I do miss the camaraderie of the likes of Rob when we first had the channel, and Andy Miles and Steve. It would be nice to get some people back. I do have some irons in the fire with some people that I've been talking to recently in the pub, see if we can get them onto channel to have a conversation. It'll be nice if I can, because they're good lads. I've got a good group of West Ham fans that come into the pub now. We watch the games together. They even come up and they watch my brother's side. Speaking of my brother's side, unbeaten in 3 league games, Long Lane. Just quickly before I call it a day to go over to Budgie. 3 league games, 3 wins. They won 2-1, 7-1, and 3-1. 1-0. Sorry, in the league. They won 3-1 in the cup game on Saturday against a team in the Premier League. So a team 1 division higher than us. They beat them. They beat them 3-1. Really, really good performances. Yeah, as Happy says, they're smashing it. My brother's doing a really good job up there. I'm really proud of him. They've got another game on Saturday. So those guys that are following us on the socials, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Insta. Not yet, mate. I'm still recording. I'm not having you coming on. Soddle off. I've lost my train of thought now, bloody kid. Yeah, if you're following me, the game on Saturday is a top of the table clash. The team that they've got, a team called AMG Ballers. They have won 4 of their first 4 league fixtures, but they they lost in their cup game on Saturday. Hang on a minute, people, because there's going to be murders in a moment. Bloody kid. You ain't got a top on, though.
No, I don't.
Oh, look, everyone's going to be listening to you putting clothes on. Bloody child. There, look, he's there. There. Say hello.
Hi.
Good lad. Right, can you go away now? Or are you just going to stand there and stare? Yeah, so he's doing well. They're top of the league. I think it's goal difference with the other side. So the other side, we can beat them, we'll be clear. Did some good bits of business. Everyone's saying hello, by the way. He did some good business in the window, like in the build up. What he did was, like in my other Forge from Iron shirt, can you get out my ear? I've got my voice in the background. He did some good stuff in pre-season. He managed to keep, I think it was 3 or 4 players that looked like they were leaving. The ones that did go, they have replaced. But he brought in 4 new players. He's brought 2 up from the reserves, but he kept 4 players, which for me were key parts to what he's going to achieve this season and going forward. The great group of players, great, fantastic bunch of lads. He's got a new assistant manager with him as well. So everything seems to be on the up. So between West Ham smashing concessions out the window, and which means now it costs me 100 quid to take him to, I think it was Man City. It's 100 quid for me, 100 quid for him, 100 quid for Grace, 100 quid for Joe. I'm spending 400 notes on taking 4 of us to West Ham, and I just can't afford that. Right, you piddle off, will you, if you're going to keep making faces.
I'm trying to do things.
You're trying to do what thing?
The buttons.
The what?
The buttons.
The buttons. What buttons?
The buttons.
I'm going to hurt him in a minute. He's getting on my nerves.
I'm
live. Will you leave off?
I'm not live.
Yeah, so where they've done that, I actually now prefer to take these guys up to my brother's game. We good clubhouse, good facilities. So it's really nice. You know, I still get to watch football. I get to support my brother. And it's fun for me. I'm going to call it a day there, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Lucas, it was really good to see you come along. I'm sorry that it was towards the end, my man. I hope you're well. I hope all of you that have joined me in the chat are well. I hope everything's going well for all of you. It's been an absolute privilege for me to be back. It's so nice to read all of your messages about me being back. It really is nice. I appreciate every single one of you. It's, as I say, it's been a bit of a ropey time for me to get back and get doing it again. Thank you, Retro. It's really appreciative. And I shall see you over at, if you're going over to Old School Hammers over on West Ham Network, I shall see you there. Do me a favour, guys. Take care. Bailey, Luke, you've just come in at the wrong time, my man. You're going to have to go back and watch it. It's not been a bad stream. It's good to see you on here, my man. Thank you. As I say, guys, I'll be doing more of this in the next couple of weeks. I'll do some more lives. I might even just do a chat where we're not talking about anything in particular. Come on over, guys. We'll see you over on Old School Hammers. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you all again very soon. Come on, you Irons. Good lad.